Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, once again for joining me in this particular video. And today I want us to discuss something very important known as to do with investments. And when you talk about investments, here I'm going to focus on financial investments. I'm going to focus on financial investments. Financial investments. And when I talk about financial investments, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk of those investments that you can do them online. It's not a must you be there physically. For example, treasury bills. We have treasury bonds. We have something like money market funds. We have real estate investment trusts, REITs, such kind of investments. There are so many, you can name them. I know you have a lot of examples and probably you're also doing some of them. So treasury bills, treasury bonds, money market funds, real investment trusts. Now, these investments, the reason why you do them, it's because of one reason, because you are going to get what we call interest in form of returns. So you get returns in form of interest. Now, when we talk about interests, ladies and gentlemen, there are two types of calculating interests. Let me just get rid of this. I hope now you know what we are discussing. When you talk about interest, there are two types of calculating interests. We have simple interests. We have simple interest and we have compounded interests. Now, we have simple interests and compounded interests. Now, when you go for an investment, remember we said that before you do any investment, you're supposed to do a research first. You're supposed to find out what kind of an investment is that. You're supposed to find out if that investment is going to, it's secure investment. If it's money market funds, are they regulated by Capital Markets Authority? Or if it's any other financial investment that you are doing, is it regulated by the government? Is it secure? Can you trust that fund manager with your money? We said that you're supposed to do your due diligence and focus on doing a comprehensive research based on that investment before you even think of doing it. Now, but in this particular video, I want us to focus on some more deeper on something known as interest. That is simple interest and compounded interest. Now, some investments are going to have compounded interests and others are going to have simple interests. But it's very unfortunate that most investments normally have simple interests. And that's why before you do any investment, you are supposed to find out whether that investment is going to give you returns in form of compounded returns or in form of simple returns. Now, I'm going to give you an example of how a compounded interest looks like and how a simple interest looks like, and see why I would recommend for you to go for compounded interests as compared to simple interests. Because when you talk about compounded interest, just to differentiate between the two, when you talk about compounded interest, let me first of all start with simple interest. Simple interest. Now, when you talk about simple interest, assuming that you have an investment that is going to give you an interest rate of 14%, an interest rate of 14% per annum, an interest rate of 14% per annum. And ladies and gentlemen, just excuse me a little so that I can pick my calculator. All right, here I have it. Let me just put it there. So, assuming that you have an investment that is going to give a rate of 14% per annum. And then after that, this interest interest 14% is simple interest. Do you know how simple interest is going to behave like? Now, let's assume that you have investment of 100K, investment of 100,000. Now, this is how the simple interest is going to behave. Now, assuming that you invest this 100,000 You invest the 100,000 in, for how many years? For 5 years. You invest 100,000 for 5 years. Now, this is how it's going to behave. Take your 14%, that is 0.14 times 100,000. So at the end of the year, how much will you have? At the end of the year, you will have 0.14 times 100,000, right? That is 14,000. So at the end of the year, you'll have 14,000. So if you decide to do this investment for 5 years, so you just take 14,000 times 5. You just take 14,000 times 5. That is 70,000. So at the end of 5 years, this investment will have given you a total of 70,000. But remember, you invested 100,000. So it has given 70,000 after 5 years. But I just want you to see what does simple interest means. Now remember, it is giving you 14,000 per annum. That means it's not compounding your principal amount. It is just taking the way it is and then multiplying it by 14% and then giving you results at the end. Remember, it's 14,000 per annum. You multiply by 5 years, it gives you 70,000. All right. Now that is simple interest. It is just going to multiply. It is a flat rate or a flat interest. It's not compounding anywhere. So you see, that is 70,000. Now, assuming that you have an investment, if you compare the same investment now on compounding basis as compared to simple interest. As compared to simple interest, you take it as compounding basis. Remember, the first investment has given you 70,000. Let me just wrap this. The first investment has given you 70,000. All right. So if it has given you, so first investment is 70,000. Now let's see what the second investment, that is compounded investment, would give you. Now, let me compound this one. I'm not even going to compound it daily. Let me just compound it monthly. No, is it monthly? Yes. Let me just take, because you see, like the case of money market funds, your amount is going to be compounded monthly. Now, I'm just going to do the whole, I'm not going to do the whole mathematics, but I'm just going to show you how compounding beats everything. All right. Now, if I just even take the daily compounding, we are saying that now this is 14% per annum compounded. This is 14% per annum compounded. Now, let's convert this to see what is the daily interest. Remember, this 14%, 14 divided by 100. Let me just write it the way it's supposed to be. This is 14 divided by 365. To see the daily interest, 14 divided by 365, 14 divided by 365, that is 0.038, 0.038%. So you can divide this one by 100 so that we can obtain a whole figure. So divide this one by 100. So you get, that is 0.00038. All right. So that when you convert this one to decimal places, it's going to give you that 0.0038. So this is 1, 2, 3. I don't know whether it's supposed to be like that, but probably something close to that. All right. Now, I don't know whether it's supposed to be like that, but I think there's supposed to be another 0 here. 38, 0.00038. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, something like that. All right. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, this is our daily interest here. I hope I'm correct. You can also confirm that from your end. This is our daily interest here. So this is how compounding is going to work. Remember, you have your 100,000. So you are going to take your, so let's say this is day one. So you are going to take 0.00038 times 100,000. What do you get here? What do you get? Times 100,000. You get 38.36. 38.36. All right? 38.36. That is your first day. Now, the second day, it's not going to take 100,000. So day 2 is going to take 100,000 and 38 plus this one, plus the interest that you earned yesterday. That is going to be 130. Let's just call it 38. And 38 you multiply by 0.000038 is equals to, so this one is going to be 0.038 divided by 100, then multiply this one by 138. So that one is around again 38 shillings. So I just want to show you how compounding normally makes works easier and how it can multiply your money. Because you see, as we continue, you can look at this one. It's very interesting. As you continue, this one started with 138. So you have already added 38. So if you go to day 3, you are going to add 138 plus another 38. So that it plus 38, that is around 72, all right, or 76. So day 3, you are going to compound 176. I hope I'm correct. And then you multiply this one by your daily interest, 0.000038. You see, now this is where the beauty of investing with compounding comes in. Because if you invest in a compounding investment, then it means that daily interest that you are getting, as long as you are not withdrawing your money, that daily interest that you are getting, it's going to be part of the principal amount that is going to be compounded tomorrow. So when the interest is calculating tomorrow, it's not going to take the original amount of 100,000. It's going to even to add the interest that was earned yesterday. And that's why you find compounding, the moment it continues like that and it continues like that, adding interest each and every day, you can imagine. But at the end of the year, at the end of 365 days, how much interest will have been added to your 100,000, and at that particular time, how much now you are getting daily. It's not 38. It can even move to almost 50 shillings, 70 shillings, depending on the amount that you have invested inside there. So ladies and gentlemen, that is simple. You see, simple interest is not going to change. It's just going to multiply your money the way it is, all right? Your 100,000 is going to be multiplied by the daily, that simple interest, just flat. But when it comes to compounding, it's going to compound. It's going to add your interest that you're earning daily. The interest that 38 shillings today, it's added. There is a time that is come now, it stops being 38 to 39 to 40 to 41 to 42 to 43 to 44 to 45 to 46, and so on and so on, until at the end of 365 days, you find it's almost 80 or 100 shillings per day, all right? So ladies and gentlemen, that is how interesting compounding is. And that's why I normally say that anytime you decide to do an investment, if you decide to do an investment, check whether it's a simple interest investment or it's a compounded investment. Examples of compounded investment is like money market funds, special funds, wealth funds, and in most cases, those funds are managed by fund managers. Fund managers like Saiton Money Market Fund and other that you can think of, like Etika and so on. And so you have them. There are so many. So those are the people that have this compounding theory. You have heard of money market funds. You have heard of wealth funds. We have heard of Sharia funds. You have heard of special funds, and so on and so on. Examples of simple interest investments, they are such as treasury bills, treasury bonds, real investment trust, and so on. And so those are the short term, or even shares. Shares also do not compound. It's simple interest. Or even when you decide to invest in a SACCO, that dividends that you normally get, or rebates on your deposits and dividends on your share capital, those are simple interest. They are not compounded. Those are simple interest returns. So ladies and gentlemen, you can think of compounded interest when you take when you decide to do investments. And therefore, here you stand to get maximum returns when you consider compounded interest. So ladies and gentlemen, that is our video for today. Remember to subscribe to this particular video. Remember to subscribe to this particular channel. Remember to follow me or to subscribe, to leave a comment on the comment section. Remember also to hit the subscription bell if you have not done that. Remember to hit that notification bell so that anytime I upload a video, you are the first person to get that particular video. Remember, my name is Sir John Mweri with Xfinop Accountancy and Insurance Consultancy, and I suggest that you watch this video up to the end. Remember to share to our friends so that you can get our community educated. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video up to the end. If you are watching me right now, kudos. Now, we meet on our next video. Stay liquid.